Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. We're doing service calls today. I was gonna shoot an intro, but then I forgot. The weather's, pretty nice. The sun's nice and warm. So it's a whole lot better than the first time I tried to do this whenever it was blowing snow. But it's the old Blazer that you've seen a few times on the channel. And I'm sticking a new blower motor in it down there. This old one that I just pulled out over here, it's a little screwy. It would still work, but it's not good. So I got the new one sitting in here, and we're going to install. And I got some more stuff going on today, so we're just gonna check back periodically throughout the day. This is actually my day off. So, yeah. Okay, we got this one taken care of. It no longer sounds like an entire flock of geese flying over top of you, so that one's done. Okay, I just got back from town a little bit ago. Had a bite to eat. Now, I am trying to make a hole in this shop because, as you can see, it is an absolute wreck. Because I haven't been working in here. I've kind of way backed off of working at home. My son's been working in here. He needs to learn to put stuff away. But anyway, I've got to get this tractor out and hook up to that trailer out there because it's getting spring shackles. I also need to move my trailer right there. It's in the way. Get it put away and kind of move stuff around. And I get that done. I also need to find a momentary on switch because my cousin's got an old powder stroker and it doesn't have any glow plugs, although the solenoid is good. So the computer is not good getting power to it to turn the glow plug solenoid on. So I'm just going to put a push button on it under the dash, which means I need a push button. Getting power to it and fuse and all that kind of stuff, that's easy to do. But I got to find a button, which I should have one around here somewhere. I'm going to do this first because I can. Okay. I scratched around on my 3-inch gravel that was out there and didn't do a great job of leveling it, but it's there. Moved my trailer, and I got this one in the shop here. So I got to put spring shackles on it. I don't know where they are. They're in it somewhere, I know. But before I start with that, I'm going to search around for a momentary on switch for that glow plug deal. Because this one here, I've got all weekend on. Actually, I got all weekend on the other one. I got all week on that other one. That's the truck he uses to pull his mowers with. And we just, it snowed last week. But whenever it turns, it's going to turn right away. So he's going to need it. And he's going to be, going around picking up yards so that he can mow easily. All the people my age are working 2 or 3 jobs. And then there's some people that won't work at all. I would like to, just work one job, but here I am. Anyway, I do have to load this deck up for the tractor. The front end cracked out on it. Somewhere right about there. Maybe there. I don't know. Somewhere it cracked. Oh, it's because it's back there. Anyway, it broke and I have to weld it up. I'm going to put a strip of steel across the bottom of it so that it can't flex. Right now it's being a workbench, looks like. We'll have to take care of that. I'm going to search around for a switch, see what I can find. Well, I just got back from putting that switch in the power stroke. It went over like a fart in a diving helmet. I got the switch in there. It was in a good place where it's hidden but accessible. I got my wires run through, and I went to hook it up to the solenoid, and somebody had torqued it down so tight on the solenoid that it wanted to rotate the deal. So I grabbed a hold of that, and when I tried to hold the wire in place while rotating it, it just ripped the wire apart and tore the terminal out of the solenoid. So I gotta get a new solenoid now. I went to get power in the fuse box on that old Ford, and there's no power in the fuse box. There's no extra place to hook it up. So I'm done on that one. So I got some tools. We're gonna work on this spring shackle job. I was wondering why he wanted these replaced, because he said, no, they weren't rusty or anything. Somebody had this truck lowered. Well, it's not a truck anymore. Now it's a trailer. So he was just wanting to put it back to the stock ride height. Well, at least the bolts weren't stuck in there and absolute, knock down, drag out fight to get out. Of course, I'm not done yet. I got to go over to the other side and do them. Maybe I might have cursed myself. Well, that's par for the course. My entire weekend. This customer provided shackles, and since this is a pickup trailer, he might not have known exactly what it came out of. These shackles here that he got, they're shorter, so it's going to raise the back of the truck up. I assumed because those are lowering shackles. But these things hit. They hit the spring loop right here. So you can't get them up in there enough to put the bolt through there. So that kills this job. Well, it's the next day. I wanted to have things done yesterday so that I had a day to relax, but that's not going to work. I'm going to try to clearance these shackles. I talked to my buddy. This belongs to my best friend. He doesn't exactly know what year this thing was. So I said, well, I'll do some research. Well, he started doing the same thing. We both came up with the same answer. These are the right shackles for this truck. I saw that it had lowering shackles on it. Well, it appears they also changed the springs, and the eyelets on the springs were a larger diameter, because these shackles are the same ones they used all the way up until 2016. This is an old OBS. So the first year for them was 88. I checked 88. I checked 90. He thinks it's a 90. And I checked 98 and 99. That's where I stopped, because they changed this body style in 2001, I think. It's pretty clear that it's not that new, but the back end was the same on everything. So I am going to go down there to the bowl grinder and probably take off 1/8 of an inch, maybe. I don't know. I hate that when aftermarket parts are just different enough to screw you over. This is why it doesn't matter. I'm frustrated. I might cut this out of the video. I might leave it in. This is what being a mechanic is. This here. Now, since those were lowering shackles, I had no problem getting that bolt out. Just took the nut off and took it above the frame. You want to put the nut on the outside, even though it makes it hard to put the bolt in from the inside. But the way this works, I'm going to have to, raise the truck up to put this bolt in. It's sitting about where it was to begin with, but you have to do that so that your end of your bolt's not catching your shackle over here. You can do it the other way, this way. I probably won't, because I've got, options. It was put in one way and then the other. Both sides were different, but you do that so that what sticks out on the nut side is not going to catch over here. And you're going to have to put them in and then raise it up into place, because that will be captured by the frame. Now this one came apart pretty easy. And like I say, I had to watch some videos to make sure that I was putting this together the correct way. I pushed up on this and rotate it to make sure that it's not going to be hitting real hard. And it's not. So I'm going to torque this down. I'll pick this up, put this bolt in, and torque it down with it hanging, just to give myself just a freckle extra clearance. It's going to make quite a difference in the height. Right there. See, we're looking at a couple inches of height difference. I pick it up quite a bit. I don't know if that was his point, but it probably was, you know, whenever it was hooked up, it was sitting down in the back quite a bit. So I just think his Dodge that he pulls it with is, you know, sitting up fairly tall. But we'll get the other side done and get it back to him. Well, I debated whether or not to just put this off or wait and finish the video. But since this is kind of a day in the life blog style video, then this is what I'm going to do. This is the second day of the 1-day video, and I'm not done, and I'm not going to be done. As you can see, I got the one side done on the shackle and working on the other side. This is why it came to me. He was going to do that himself. He got to a bolt that wouldn't come out. Well, I got to the bolt that it wouldn't come out for him. The other three were just, you know, great. That one bolt, it's the upper bolt on the other side. And so it's a hard one to get to. It's stuck. You've got the outer of the bushing, steel sleeve, and then the rubber, and then the inner bushing, steel sleeve, and the bolt is stuck in the inner bushing. It's rusted into the steel sleeve, which is pretty common on these springs. This is what you deal with whenever you're doing these jobs. But you can't heat it because that ruins the bushing. I've got new bushings, but I don't have a way to install them. Not a good way anyway. I might end up having to do that. But do I have the right ones? Because these are different springs. So I really, really, really don't want to ruin the rubber, which means no torch. I don't have a torch anyway. I put my ball joint press, which is a gigantic C-clamp with a hole in the end of it. I put that on the bolt and went as far as the impact would go, and then put a breaker bar on it and went as far as I could go. Didn't budge. I had it tight like that, and then I vibrated on the end of it with an air hammer. Didn't budge. It is actually ballooning out the bracket. So I decided to go ahead and post this because this is reality. Most of the things that I do are start to finish how-to videos, but this is the reality of working on vehicles, rusty old cars. You have to fight things like this. With experience, you find ways to mitigate them. What is very frustrating is that when you've gone through all that and it doesn't work. And everybody will throw out suggestions like, use this, use this, use this, use this, as if you haven't already gone through that. You know, when you've gotten to the point of frustration, you've already exhausted everything that you think might work. And now you're going through the desperation acts. Usually the first thing people say is spray it down. It'd be great if you had some spray, which I don't. I'll have to get some tomorrow. But realistically, it doesn't work. Now, it keeps it from galling up, and it helps it move once it's moving. Or if you've heated it and you shoot it on there, it'll shrink it, break that rust loose. But dry cold, it does nothing. I'm still going to put some in. I got stuff falling out of my hair. I'm still going to put some on it. Maybe it'll soak in. Maybe while I'm vibrating on it, it will work its way down in there. But stop and think, how does that stuff get in there when it's already packed full of rust to the point that it won't move? It can't. So it can't do anything. It's something that we as professionals that do it all the time know. I might end up having to tear out that bushing, and hopefully the one that I have is the right one. I won't know until I have it apart, is the sad part. If you were looking for a how-to video, this one isn't it. Sorry. Not all that entertaining, but it is reality. Editing takes out a lot of mistakes. Editing takes out a lot of frustration. And I try to leave in as much as I can. So, this is a day in the life. Reality. Job's not done. And I don't know what I'm going to have to do to get it done. I'll get it done eventually. I just did a TikTok on the frustration of doing this before I found this bolt. It's the reason why I almost quit working at home here, because I don't do this. This is a friend of mine, so that's why I'm doing it. Worked all day yesterday. I overcame one obstacle, which was grinding out those deals so that they would fit. Now I have another one, and I'll have to figure that one out too. It's pretty aggravating. It's the people that are the one everybody goes to. They don't have anybody to go to. They're it. They're the cavalry. So I'll have to find a way. And unfortunately, that's where I'm going to end this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.